is. So how do you prevent a repetitive stress injury? Now, before we get into the tips, the 4 tips here, let's talk a little bit about RSI. So what are these? So these are very common, but probably you don't know this specific term, which is repetitive stress injuries. So when you start to do an action over and over again, and because of that action, there is a cumulative or a stress that adds up on your muscle, tendons, or ligaments, basically any part of your body, that can lead to an injury, which is known as a repetitive stress injury. Let me give you some examples. So when you are repeatedly doing an action with your wrist, where you're repeatedly bending and extending your wrist in this manner, say you are, working in your garden and you're doing some digging action repeatedly with your wrist involved, you can have a problem at the wrist, which goes up into your elbow and give rise to issues like tennis elbow. Or you could be one of those who's playing the Candy Crush game on your phone, or you're repeatedly texting. So if you're holding your phone and you're repeatedly texting, you see the thumb movements. Or if you are, say, a hairstylist and this is what you're doing all day long, this thumb is getting stressed when you're repeatedly using scissors over and over and over again without a break throughout the day. It can lead to a condition known as decurrent tenosynovitis. Basically, it's an inflammation of this tendon within your thumb. So these are some of the examples of repetitive stress injuries. So you might be more familiar with these conditions rather than this term of RSI. So before we get into the tips to manage or to prevent your repetitive stress injuries, let me just introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Swati. I'm an executive mom power coach. I help moms of younger kids who work as executives in high stress jobs, lots of travel, busy lives as moms, as we all know, and you suffer from aches and pains that stem from being a mom. So maybe they started during your pregnancy, your childbirth, or during the toddler years, or maybe ahead of that. So if you are one of those moms and you have these aches and pains, for example, neck pain, back pain, or even heel pain. So if you have these aches and pains that stem from motherhood, from being a mom, from being a busy working mom, usually these aches and pains get swept under the carpet, or you learn to live with them. However, this is not normal, and we should not be living with these pains, or we should be able to manage them to an extent where they don't interfere with our jobs, with our personal lives. So this is where I come in and I give you these easy tips, simple hacks, or easy lifestyle changes that you can do to prevent these aches and pains. Alrighty, so let's get back to our topic for today. So 4 tips to manage a repetitive stress injury. Now, firstly, the very first thing before preventing anything is you need to identify it. So once you know, say you have been sitting and you've been staring at your computer screen for work for a very long time. Say you have a presentation coming up, or if that is your daily routine, you are looking and staring into your screen all day long without a break, and you know your neck pain or your headache stems from this. Then what you need to do is identify, say, yes, it's because of my staring at my screen that I have this problem. So first is identify, second is modify, and take breaks. So what you do for modification is maybe, instead of poking your neck out like this and staring at the screen, make sure your neck remains in neutral. Now, if you are looking for more details on how to keep your neck in neutral, you can go to my YouTube channel, or just go into YouTube, type my name, Swati Prakash, followed by good posture or just posture or neck pain, and lots of videos will come up. I have done quite a few videos in details about how to maintain your neck in a good posture, so you can have a look at it there. Coming back to our video for today, so talking about the tip where you need to first identify what is the problem, then you need to modify it, and if the problem still persists, then maybe you need to stop the activity that gives rise to the problem. It may not be possible, maybe you do need to look at a screen for your work, but maybe you can modify the environment around you. Okay, so second thing is, if you have a repetitive stress injury, say you have a tennis elbow problem, okay, or say you have a ligament that gets stressed in your back. So at the end of the day, you could apply a cold pack, or even mid of the day or end of the day, you twice a day you can apply a cold pack, because cold helps in easing the inflammation in that tendon or the ligament. And the other thing you can do is, say you are one of those who sit in a chair for a long time, you have been doing your breaks, however you get up in the morning and you have a stiff back. Try a hot pack. Hot packs are helpful in easing your muscle spasm. So depending on what you have, an inflammation will feel like a dull, achy pain. A spasm will, well, just feel like your whole back or that area is really stiff. So use a hot pack or a cold pack. If you're not sure about which one you need to use, again, go to my YouTube, just type my name, hot pack, cold pack, hot pack or cold pack, and then you will come across these videos. You can have a look at them. Just referring to my notes here. Yeah. So the third tip is use a splint or support the area. So going back to tennis elbow, if you have a tennis elbow problem, use a tennis elbow splint on your elbow here, and that will help support the area so that you're able to carry out your everyday activities. Remember, this is not a valid, this is not an excuse or a valid excuse for overdoing your work or not taking breaks. It's just one of the ways in which you can relieve that strain on the tendon so that you don't develop tennis elbow. All right. So, the other thing, the last thing was, whenever you are doing any activity or you're sleeping at night as well, please make sure that you are in a good posture. Again, you can look at the posture videos on my YouTube. What happens is, if you are in a poor posture or a bad posture, you build up a lot of stresses. There's a lot of stresses that build up on your muscles, tendons, ligaments, joints, etc., basically on your body. So if you want to avoid these repetitive stress on that area of your body, you need to be in a good posture, whether you're sitting, standing, lying down, whatever you're doing. All right, so these are the 4 tips that I wanted to talk about. You can get into the details on my YouTube if you want to dig deeper into any of these tips. And if you have any questions, you can just put them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them for you. If you are looking for easy tips on how to manage your neck, back, or your joint pains, feel free to join my community. It's a free community. I will leave a link in the description of this video. If you're watching me on Instagram, the link is in my bio. Once you click on that and scroll down, you will see my community and you can join from there. Alrighty, I'll see you